Among the many unusual aspects of Athena's mythology, one of the most remarkable concerns her relationship with a child named Erichthonius, whose story reveals much about the goddess's complex nature, her capacity for nurturing despite her virginity, and the deep connection between Athena and the city of Athens itself. The story begins, like so many Greek myths, with an act of violence, but it transforms into something unexpected, into a tale of protection, motherhood of a sort, and the founding of a royal line. The key figures in this drama are Athena herself, the smith god Hephaestus, and Gaia, the ancient earth. Hephaestus, the divine craftsman and blacksmith, was in many ways a tragic figure. Born to Hera, either in response to Zeus giving birth to Athena alone, or in some traditions as the son of both Zeus and Hera, Hephaestus was marked from birth by physical disability. His legs were twisted or malformed, causing him to walk with a pronounced limp. Different stories tell of his being thrown from Olympus, either by Zeus for taking Hera's side in an argument, or by Hera herself out of shame for his appearance. Despite these difficulties, Hephaestus had become the greatest craftsman among the gods, creating wondrous works of art and technology, forging Zeus's thunderbolts and the gods' palaces, making beautiful jewelry and elaborate automatons. His skills were unmatched, his workshop on Olympus a place of constant creative activity. But he was also lonely, twice married, twice disappointed, and often mocked by the other gods for his appearance and his limp. Athena, as we have mentioned, was a virgin goddess uninterested in romantic or sexual relationships. But she was deeply interested in crafts and technology, in the work that Hephaestus did so well. The two deities had much in common. Both valued skill and technique, both understood the importance of making things, both represented the civilized, productive aspects of human life rather than the destructive or chaotic. It was natural that Athena might visit Hephaestus's workshop to commission new armor or weapons, to discuss techniques, to admire his latest creations. According to the account preserved in the Bibliotheca attributed to Apollodorus, one such visit went terribly wrong. When Athena came to request new weapons, Hephaestus, perhaps emboldened by loneliness, perhaps overcome by sudden desire, attempted to seduce her. Different sources suggest different motivations. Some say he was genuinely smitten with the goddess. Others suggest that Poseidon, still angry about losing the contest for Athens, manipulated Hephaestus into this action as a form of revenge against Athena. Athena, determined to maintain her virginity, rejected Hephaestus's advances and fled. But Hephaestus, despite his physical disability, pursued her. This detail is significant because Hephaestus's lameness was well known. His ability to catch even the swift-footed Athena, even briefly, suggests the intensity of his pursuit. The accounts differ somewhat on exactly what happened next, but all agree on the essential facts. During the struggle, Hephaestus ejaculated, and his semen fell either on Athena's thigh or onto the ground. If it fell on Athena's thigh, she immediately wiped it away with a piece of wool or a cloth, which she then threw to the ground in disgust. Either way, the divine seed ended up on the earth, on Gaia herself. And Gaia, that primordial being who had given birth to so many things in the cosmos's earliest days, became pregnant from Hephaestus's seed. 9 months later, she gave birth to a son, who was named Erichthonius. The name itself contains multiple meanings. Some sources connect it to Erion, meaning wool, and Chathon, meaning earth, thus wool earth, referencing the wool that brought the seed to the earth. Others suggest strife earth or simply earthborn, emphasizing the child's autochthonous nature, his being born directly from the soil of Attica. Now, you might expect Athena to have nothing to do with this child, born as he was from an assault upon her person. But here the goddess surprised everyone. Rather than rejecting Erichthonius, rather than leaving him to his fate as an unwanted child of Hephaestus and Gaia, Athena took responsibility for him. She gathered up the infant and claimed him as her own, becoming his foster mother, his protector, his guide. Why would Athena do this? Various explanations have been offered. Some suggest that Athena felt responsibility because the seed that created Erichthonius had touched her, even if only briefly, making her connected to the child in some way. Others propose that Athena saw an opportunity to raise a child according to her own values, to create a ruler who embodied wisdom and skill, rather than merely brute strength. Still others suggest that Athena simply felt compassion for an innocent child, recognizing that Erichthonius bore no guilt for the circumstances of his conception. Whatever her motivation, Athena took the infant Erichthonius and placed him in a small chest or basket, a sacred container. But she wanted to raise him in secret, perhaps to avoid questions about her involvement, perhaps to protect him from jealous gods who might see him as a potential threat. So Athena devised a plan. She would entrust the chest containing Erichthonius to others, with strict instructions not to look inside. The ones she chose for this task were the 3 daughters of King Cecrops. the same Cecrops who had judged the contest between Athena and Poseidon. These daughters were named Aglaurus, Herse, and Pandrosos. Athena gave them the sealed chest and told them, in no uncertain terms, that they must guard it carefully and never, under any circumstances, open it to see what was inside. Here, the story takes on the qualities of a folktale, the kind of prohibition that we know, even as it is spoken, will be violated. The human mind being what it is, being told not to look at something often makes that thing irresistibly fascinating. The three sisters took the chest and dutifully guarded it, but curiosity began to eat at them. What could be inside? Why was Athena so insistent that they not look? Was it treasure? A magical object? Some sacred relic? The questions grew and multiplied until, despite their promise to the goddess, despite knowing that disobedience to a divine command could bring terrible consequences, Aglaurus and Herse decided to look inside the chest. Only Pandrosos, the youngest of the three, resisted temptation. She refused to break her oath to Athena, refused to violate the goddess's trust. But her sisters, overcome with curiosity, opened the chest. What they saw inside varied depending on which source you consult. Some accounts say they saw a baby with the lower body of a serpent instead of legs, his human half joined to a snake's coiling tail. Others say they saw a perfectly normal-looking baby but with a large serpent coiled protectively around him. Still others suggest they saw multiple serpents, or that the baby himself could transform into serpent form. Whatever the exact nature of what they saw, the sight drove Aglaurus and Herse mad. Athena, learning of their disobedience, inflicted madness upon them as punishment for breaking their oath. In their insanity, the two sisters threw themselves from the steep cliffs of the Acropolis, dying on the rocks below. Only Pandrosos, who had kept her promise, was spared. This story of the daughters of Cecrops and the chest containing Erichthonius became deeply embedded in Athenian religious practice. An annual festival called the Araphoria reenacted parts of this myth. Two young girls called Araphoroi would live on the Acropolis for a year, performing various duties in Athena's service. On a specific night, they would be given covered baskets containing sacred objects whose nature they were not permitted to see. They would carry these baskets down a secret path through the Acropolis walls to a sanctuary below, where they would exchange the baskets for other covered baskets, which they would bring back up. The Araphoroi, like Pandrosos, were expected to obey without looking to maintain sacred secrecy. As for Erichthonius, once Athena reclaimed him from the disastrous guardianship of Cecrops' daughters, she raised him herself. Some sources say she nursed him with her own divine essence, though how a virgin goddess accomplished this remained mysterious. More commonly, the sources tell us that Athena kept Erichthonius with her in her temple, educating him, teaching him all manner of skills and wisdom. The serpent form of Erichthonius, or his association with serpents, connected him to the earth itself, emphasized his status as truly autochthonous, born from the soil of Athens. The Athenians, in later centuries, would claim descent from Erichthonius, using him as proof that they were not immigrants or colonizers, but the original inhabitants of their land, literally born from it. This claim to autochthony gave Athens a special status in Greek thought, made them not just inhabitants of their land, but intrinsically connected to it. Erichthonius grew to adulthood under Athena's care, and eventually became king of Athens, driving out the usurper Amphictyon and restoring order to the city. As king, he proved wise and innovative. He introduced many important technologies to Athens, all of which resonated with Athena's attributes. He taught the Athenians to harness horses and use them to pull chariots, making the city's military more mobile and effective. He showed them how to smelt silver from ore, establishing the mining operations that would later make Athens wealthy. He introduced or improved agricultural techniques, including the use of the plough to till the earth more efficiently. Most importantly for our story, Erichthonius founded the Panathenaic Festival, the great celebration in honor of Athena that would become Athens' most important religious observance. He set up a wooden statue of Athena in a temple on the Acropolis, creating the cult image that would eventually be replaced by grander statues, but which remained sacred as the original. Erichthonius married a nymph named Praxithea and had a son, Pandion, who would succeed him on the throne. When Erichthonius died after a long and prosperous reign, Zeus honored him by placing him in the stars as the constellation Auriga, the charioteer, a fitting memorial for the king who had brought the chariot to Athens. In later Athenian art and architecture, Erichthonius appeared frequently. The famous chryselephantine statue of Athena Parthenos in the Parthenon included a representation of Erichthonius. Behind Athena's shield, invisible to casual observers but known to those familiar with the statue, a serpent coiled. This serpent was identified with Erichthonius, suggesting his continuing protective presence, his eternal role as guardian of Athens, even in serpent form. The story of Erichthonius and Athena is remarkable for several reasons. First, it shows us Athena in a maternal role, despite her virginity. She becomes a mother not through sexual reproduction, but through choice, through assuming responsibility for a child who needed protection. This aspect of Athena, caring and nurturing, contrasts with her warrior side, reminding us that the goddess was multifaceted, capable of tenderness alongside her capacity for fierce protection. Second, the story emphasizes the connection between Athena and Athens. By raising the city's future king, by educating him in wisdom and skills, Athena directly shaped Athens' destiny. Erichthonius, born from the earth of Athens and raised by its patron goddess, embodied the union of place and divine protection, of land and wisdom. Third, the tale highlights Athena's association with serpents, creatures of the earth and of transformation. The serpent form of Erichthonius connected him to chthonic powers, to the underworld, to the deep places of the earth. Yet this serpent was not threatening or monstrous when associated with Athena. It was protective, wise, a guardian rather than a danger. Finally, the story of the daughters of Cecrops and their fatal curiosity served as a cautionary tale about the importance of obedience to divine commands, about respecting boundaries, about the dangers of profane curiosity that seeks to uncover what should remain hidden. The myth taught that some knowledge is dangerous, that some mysteries are meant to remain mysterious, that wisdom includes knowing when not to look.